Now I'm going to talk about possibility, which is what most leaders engage in if they want to envision the future. I'll start with a story that will make this very clear. This is this young man who wants to meet the king because he's very curious to see how the king looks like, but he doesn't have a way to meet the king. He doesn't have access. So what does he do? He spreads a rumor in the kingdom, and he tells some of his close friends, go and reach this to the king's ears, that I can make his best horse fly. And somehow it reaches the king's ears. The king is curious too, and he calls this young man to his court one day, and he says, look here, you've been saying some stupid things, like you can make my horse fly. Can you really do that? The young man says, oh, yes, Almighty, I can do that. The king says, then here is my horse, now make it fly. And the young man says, Almighty, when have you heard that you can make something happen which has not happened before without proper training and learning? So you give me some time. The king said, come on, don't play games with me. You tell me exactly how long you need. And he says, I need 6 months. So the king said, all right, 6 months' time, I'm going to check with this horse whether you can make it fly. If you can't, your head will be chopped off, please remember. And the young man walks out with the horse, his friends accompanying him, and they whisper to him, did you say that you can make the horse fly? Why did you say that? We know you don't know how to do that. And the man said, don't worry, there are possibilities and possibilities. So friend said, what possibilities? He said, first possibility, the horse may die in the 6 months. The second possibility is the king may die. The third possibility, the horse can fly. Now, if you look at the mind of the man, of course he did not make the horse fly. But today we know that there are aircrafts that fly. Now, it is the imagination of that primitive man that could imagine that something could fly like those horses. That imagination has created the result called aeroplanes. Now, if you look at an organization as a coalition of structures, as an alchemy of rules and regulations, then you will see that the brain gets co-opted by those structures, by those certainties, and that brain forgets that it has inbuilt in its neural architecture the ability to envisage possibilities that are not part of the current structure. People who live in the realm of possibilities think in images. They think in terms of the future. And you can see that in the organizational context. When I assumed charge in IIMK, I said, well, there is a possibility that this institution will globalize Indian thought. And we did not know exactly what will be the outcome. But within a year's time, we saw ourselves tying up with the major Ivy League school of the United States, Yale. And we went to China. We are tying up with the top Chinese schools, school in Brazil and Russia, major schools around the world. And so we are essentially moving into the global space and leaving our global footprints there. And it is possible that it all started with envisioning a world of possibilities. I cannot imagine that a brand can be a brand without it being in the realm of possibilities. Look at a product that competes with a very established brand in the same space, and nobody will buy a product which is not so well branded, because the mind has already co-opted the mythology that this branded product is a great product. So all brands are essentially expressions of what is called mythological thinking. And I think it's very important to embed this mythology in the context of an organization, more so in the context of an academic institution, where we always think in the largest, by definition, the word university means universal. So we are like a university of management, where we think in global terms, where we think in universal terms, where we think of embracing many discontinuities and making possible what would not be possible had it not been our contribution to it. So we are essentially building on the realm of possibility. Our thinking, our imagining a future rests on that dimension.